Our next presenter is the Omar ElNaggar, who's the co-founder and CEO of WeaveChain, winner of several BNB chain hackathons over this past year, one at ETH Denver, 10 years of hedge fund management experience with his co-founder, software development experience, and they created a way for Web2 companies to actually enter Web3 with the layer 0 protocol, which they taught me means interoperability, but also with an opportunity to onboard things that are enterprise level software applications, which we haven't seen in our space. Omar, you're next.
Thanks so much, Mariana. It's great to be chatting with you all. We're batting cleanup here. I think it's us and the hustle left. So almost there, everybody. Thanks so much for your attention today. And, I would just say, Mariana, on your past note, the thing is Web 2 and Web 3 are going to be one web in the future, right? That's our output look. But just to give a little bit of background here on my co-founder and myself, we worked together for 10 years at a hedge fund. I ran R&D and quantitative trading, and Johan was the lead architect for the fund, doing both strategy engineering, as well as building out professional trading platforms, including Caspian for crypto trading. I then moved on to be VP of product at an enterprise software startup, which sold to Citrix for $220 million. And I've been involved in crypto for almost 10 years now. Now, with this background, we basically saw a massive gap in how Web3 was being built. And we try to address that gap with WeaveChain, the layer 0 for data, which is a multi-chain protocol that makes it easy to go and gain Web3 data benefits for a vast majority of the world's developers and data. I'm a believer that Web3 data is so awesome that it's, again, going to eat the entire internet because it's a leap forward in security technology where all data is going to become verifiable. And data value increases when it participates in these open economies. The problem is that today's solutions are too hard for 99% of developers and will never work for 99% of data. There are 23,000 crypto developers today, which looks great until you zoom out and realize that it's not even 0.1% of the developer market. And while exciting technologies like smart contracts and IPFS seem like a great way to store data, spoiler alert, they are not compliant with global regulations and they never will be. Public Web3 is immutable and permissionless as a feature, meaning that you can't delete data to satisfy things like GDPR compliance, and you can't firewall data to satisfy things like HIPAA compliance. So, if you're telling me that data is the new oil and that this AI world of ours runs on data, but Web3 can't touch 99% of it, that's puke-worthy to me. Our TAM is a Web3 data solution for normal developers and compliant data. And we achieve this with WeaveChain by letting you build data apps 10 times faster with your current stack that you love running today, and a WeaveChain node deployed on-premise into your infrastructure. This lets our customers build Web3 with APIs and databases instead of smart contracts. This right here is the root object of our layer 0, a truly self-sovereign node that's enterprise secure. Now, our technology lets you upgrade your data so that it is verifiable, so that you can do things like establish proof of solvency, proof of identity, utilize zero-knowledge proofs, whatever you want here. And outside of security, WeaveChain lets you easily participate in data economies, whether that's an X-to-earn model, where you're trading tokens for data, or working with NFTs. We envision a multi-chain future that is interoperable, fast, and compliant. And the heart of our network are these weaves, or side chains for data sharing that are enterprise-grade private dApps. We then put blockchain anchors of hashes or zero-knowledge proofs on any L1 or L2 to give data those verifiability properties in a way that's GDPR and HIPAA compliant. And for our model, we go and have our side chains send gas fees up to our WeaveChain hub, which also acts as a directory to route data requests using decentralized IDs. Now, our tokenomics are built around data activity. We want to encourage people to share data and computation over that data. Think of it sort of like the graph meets Cosmos, a decentralized data sharing network with layer 0 security. So Weave is a governance token for managing the open source code that runs our protocol. And any data activity on the network creates gas fees for us in USDC to drive our treasury, and also mints Weave token for those users. The whole idea here is that the Weave token will accrue value as more data is attached to the network, because we say that the future present value of data is its potential to drive data activity and fees. Now, our burn mechanism allows users to cash out for a pro rata percentage of the Treasury's USDC, but they lose out on that future present value of data. And the Treasury funds will be used to pay core developers and the partners of our ecosystem. Now, again, we believe that Web3 is going to eat the entire internet, and we pattern it after the adoption of HTTPS, that little lock icon on your browser that is now in 95% of all websites. In that HTTPS pattern, the most valuable data migrates first, and our early use cases are centered around finance and decentralized science for pharma and healthcare. Social and gaming, we're next on the HTTPS adoption curve. It's the same for Web3, and we're basically preparing our infrastructure to be able to deal with any type of data in the world. That's how we measure our TAM. We are in the business of data. And in 10 years, I believe that Web3 data will be about 35% of the market, giving us a $316 billion market to go after. And WeaveChain is the only solution out there that is both easy and compliant. As discussed earlier, public Web3 is neither. Now, private blockchains are compliant, but even harder to use than public Web3. There are some really interesting tools that are coming online to make public Web3 data easy. But again, if you're thinking about compliance, these guys will never touch 99% of data. At this point in our journey, we have launched our public beta. It supports 280,000 transactions per second because we're just dealing with data. And we support pretty much every major database out there, including IPFS, if you actually want to store your data there. What's really interesting is that we support every major blockchain as well. So we've been thrilled to work with WeaveChain through this program. We're working on a combination partnership around Greenfield. But a lot of our customers are really excited about, let's say, more of the Ethereum stack over here through Polygon, Optimism, and Arbitrum. Our first deployments are effectively case studies on use cases for customers that need them. And we approach things with sort of a B2B mindset so that we can prove the utility of our protocol and the willingness of people to pay for it. So later, I'll walk you through a case study with Genobank on a data economy that we built for them. But I'll actually start with a simpler use case that we've been dealing with recently around the security side of things. So at my old hedge fund, we weren't even using like Google Cloud to store our trading data, let alone putting it on chain. But you may have noticed that with the FTX blowup, fraud is a big risk that parties are trying to minimize now. And we're building a solution for verifiable financial data because one of our customers effectively is a lender in the space that goes and gives hedge funds $30 million checks and is demanding additional diligence because they learned the hard way in Q4 that customers were lying to them about their exposure to exchanges like FTX. Now they say, if you want our money, you have to prove to us where you're custodying your assets. The problem is that hedge funds do not want to disclose specific positions, especially in DeFi, where you allocate is your strategy. So with WeaveChain, we built a product called Accountable to enable privacy-preserving, verifiable attestations about balance sheets. Our private dApp solution is critical here because SaaS and public dApp solutions expose way too much information from a hedge fund perspective. To use a SaaS platform like Credora, for example, a hedge fund would have to go and hand over their private keys, trust Credora to actually have a copy of all their trading data, and even the lenders would have to live with Credora having all those reports in their stack. And public dApps are even worse. If you're going to go and put that data on IPFS, suddenly you are an encryption hack away from the whole world having access to your information. So with our private dApp solution, we keep all keys and data locally on-prem at that borrower hedge fund. They pull the sensitive information into their local environment, and then they can go and send reports directly to these lenders who can actually aggregate those reports across multiple borrowers. Now, what this looks like in practice is, our dApp is a web server. Customers come to our website, but the first thing you do is enter in the address of your private server and your private key to go and get access. Then in the application, you can go and create a report like proof of custody or solvency or market neutrality. And then you submit that report to a lender who can aggregate it to understand their total risk to Coinbase across multiple parties. Again, this solution is for verifiable financial data, and it's really focused on the security benefits of Web3. Our customers in decentralized science like Genobank want all the features of Web3 data, particularly this data economy side. What Genobank does for its customers is say, we will go and sequence your DNA for you, and then give you an NFT that represents access rights to your genome. We built them a marketplace that allows users to bring that NFT to the market and purchase study on their personal data to understand whether I have risk of heart disease or Alzheimer's. Now, we do this in a way that completely preserves privacy to ensure that only the user sees the results of the study, not Genobank. The problem is that in this scenario, Genobank is actually still hosting the user's genetic data. For our V2, we're building a solution for them that allows the genetic data to go right back to the user in a local GenoVault application on their laptop that's powered by WeaveChain. And the great thing here is that the marketplace we built for them will work exactly the same way. People in decentralized science really care about things like who is storing their data, using NFTs for access rights, ensuring that they have full privacy using confidential computing, and a history of who has accessed their data and how. Now, that first product we built for Genobank lets users pay to learn things about themselves securely. But the next product we're building for them will actually allow users to share their genetic data with researchers in exchange for tokens. It's what we call a consent to earn model. What this looks like in practice is that Web3 bioinformatics marketplace from Genobank, where I can go and purchase studies about myself to understand my risk of heart disease. And we even built an engine for them using ChatGPT that lets you pull ChatGPT about any condition in the world. ChatGPT gives you a list of genes and alleles, and you can compare that against your personal data without sharing that data with ChatGPT or anybody else. Our next motion here is to go and take these case studies and use them to build a developer ecosystem. In Q1 this year, we went and won 3 hackathons, including ETH Denver's Infrastructure Award. But now we need to go and sponsor other people winning hackathons with our WeaveChain technology and flesh out our library of sample code and documentation. Similarly, today, we're actually going and making our customers successful ourselves. Now we need to go and find partners that can do these builds so that we can focus on improving our product. We just connected our first build partner, Conaxium, with a contract at Genico to go and build out the UI in exactly this model. So at the end of our seed round, our target is to be fully open source, to have launched our token, and to have launched our mainnet. We raised around $2 million to date, starting with a pre-seed round around a year and a half ago. And there are 6 of us on the team right now. Myself, a co-founder and CTO in Romania, 3 other engineers, and our director of product design in New York. We're raising $3 million to go and hit those targets we discussed and give us about 2 years of runway. We are currently a Delaware C corporation, and we're going to be issuing warrants for our token. And I'll happily go into our operational plan, but the TLDR is that we are very engineering heavy and want to invest much more in marketing and products for our token launch now that we're live. Thanks so much for your time today. And Mario, thank you again for throwing a great program with Infium and BNB Chain and to all the other founders in the program. It's been great working with you all, and we're grateful for everything.
I love this project, Omar, and I've learned so much from you on time management in the process. It's been fascinating. When you looked at the space that we're in, the Web3 space, and this whole idea that only 0.1% of the software, of the Web2 software, can actually find its way to Web3, what was the most compelling reason for you to make that conclusion, in building the company?
It's that background of finance and enterprise software that I've been through. And to your point earlier about time management, we were actually trying to build a Web3 app to go and manage time. So I think I told you I run this crazy experiment where I've tracked my entire life for the past 6 years. And we were trying to figure out a way that we could go and compensate users with tokens for that data, and figure out a way that companies could actually go and use this to understand how employees were spending their time. And we realized no company in the world is ever going to store their data on IPFS. No hedge fund is ever going to store its trading data on IPFS. All of the benefits of Web3 that you want are not accessible with the current architecture. A layer 0 architecture can go and solve that. That could have let us build our time tracking app and do these things, and also provide these solutions to hedge funds and exchanges and banks in a way that we're really excited about. So really, we were scratching our own itch.
I love it. I am very excited about projects like yours, which can get us to that 99.99 adoption of this space. So thank you for that. And obviously, BNB Chain tech teams are very excited about it as well, and winning all these hackathons.